the coaching relationship requires a relationship.
Dan, you're writing 3 blogs at the same time.
Yeah, this is new for me. This is not my typical process.
What is number 1? The topic of number 1.
So number 1 is why you are your own worst coach.
Okay, elaborate.
Yeah, so
because I think there's a lot of people out there coaching themselves.
Yeah, I would say most people. Most people who recreationally train coach themselves, right? They come up with a program.
And this isn't the same as like having a trainer in your class. Say you go to Barry's boot camp, or you go to a Rumble class, you go to a boot camp style class.
Yeah.
You have an instructor there.
Yeah.
It's like instructing, but that instructor is not necessarily your coach. Maybe elaborate the difference between a trainer and instructor and a coach.
Yeah, so I think a trainer and instructor is someone who leads a group of people, and maybe it's a bridge between yourself and an actual coach who would be an instructor of that class, because they are laying out some parameters of what it is that you're going to do that day. But you're still ultimately your own coach there, because you're deciding to go to this class, or you're arranging classes that one day you're going to, Barry's, and the next day you're going to a spin class, and then the third day you're going to yoga. And you're still really coaching yourself. You're just putting yourself in an environment with other people, and maybe someone else is leading you through and giving you some tips and maybe even some programming. But a coach really is going to take you, basically assess you based on what your goals are, see what it is that you need to accomplish, and then really create a plan to help you accomplish those goals and put you in an environment to accomplish those goals, and give you all the structure and tools, and just really be a hands-on person that gets involved in seeing it all the way through, and not just for an hour at a time. I think that would be the difference between like an instructor and a coach.
So what you're telling me, it's a level of responsibility. A coach takes on some responsibility for the effect of the training that you're doing, the result of what you're doing. And that's not very common. Unless you hire a personal trainer, you might have someone who's instructing you in the class, instructing you how to do it. But a coach is going to take on the responsibility of you arriving to the place that you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think the easiest way to think about it is probably the most common places where you see a coach, which is a sports team, right? Like, that guy doesn't just show up for the games, right? He's creating the game plan. He's taking you through practices. He's helping you with your skill sets. He's trying to make you a fully formed athlete, with the intention of winning whatever it is, whatever competition or event that you're in. And in training, for most people who aren't competing in something, this is it's a similar structure, but rather than get you prepared for an event, they're just helping you get, realize your goals, whether that's a body composition goal, or getting stronger, or improving your cardiovascular health, or whatever it is you're looking to do, or maybe a combination of all those things, just drive up your general fitness qualities. There's a difference between someone with expertise really laying out a plan and helping you execute that plan, than you just having those goals and maybe going to a fitness facility or lacing up your running shoes or whatever and just trying to kind of make that happen on your own. And I think most people who go to the gym with goals in mind even are coaching themselves.
Yeah. And I think it brings up the point too, that all of the best performers at anything have a coach.
Yeah.
Like it's an integral part of the process. LeBron James has a coach. Des Linden has a coach. Ilya Ilin has a coach. All of the best athletes have coaches. Even the highest performers at the given thing in the world have coaches. And it might be like, I think, the biggest differential between someone who's taking their goals seriously and someone who's just kind of meandering and just like waiting for a miraculous moment or a miraculous class or thing to just do the work for them. You need somebody in the boat with you.
Yeah.
Someone who's like on the mission with you to get to the place, arrive at the place.
Yeah. Yeah. It gives you proof of life. You know what I mean? It gives you a reason. It makes it all feel bigger and more important and supported than just trying to do it on your own. I mean, I think there is like this misconception that these athletes are just these lumps of clay with incredible genetics who are just completely unaware of the sport that they're doing. But there's these Fengalis who just manipulate them and coach them. And these guys know exactly what they're doing. Like LeBron James knows everything there is to know about basketball. And still he has a coach because that is what professional people and people with the most on the line do.
That's where results are really derived.
Yeah.
It's like investment in the process in getting to the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say, we would argue the keys to success is to surround yourself with winners. And that is going to be training partners and other like-minded people who also want to accomplish the same thing. That's like very critical. And then someone with an expertise who can really create the framework and the structure and the actual nuts and bolts of what it is you need to do, and is there to support you through it and see it through. I just don't think those things are replaceable.
And watch your progress and develop you.
Yeah. And that's not to say that there aren't people who don't go to the gym and make progress. Like any 19-year-old guy who's never trained before can go to the gym, do a bunch of stuff, and make progress just because that's where they are in life and they're untrained, and they're going to see some results because they're doing something they've never done before. Mm-hmm. But if you're really looking to get past that, like kind of first level stuff, having some direction and having some human interaction and not just, grabbing programs from a magazine or looking at YouTube videos, it makes a huge difference.
I think we seek it, and I think there's been a capitalization on this effect in people and a bit of a race to the bottom in the price, because I think that's kind of what trainer worship is. Like we're seeking the ideal, the person to follow, like the trainer. Like if you have a Peloton instructor or Apple fitness instructor, tonal instructor, we want to idealize people and we want to follow them as a coach, even though it's not reciprocated. They're not responsible for you individually in your journey, and they're performing for up to like millions of people. But we still want to think like, oh, this person is my coach, and we have this response where we want to idealize them, and kind of like fantasize about them being like the coach for you, but they're not. They're really not invested in you individually and your particular success, right? And if you do want someone else in the boat with you, taking responsibility for the success of your performances and your improvements, it's going to cost a little bit more.
Yeah,
it's going to take more of a financial investment.
Yeah, if you can. Coaching can't exactly be broadcast, but that is the attempt of those places in order to bring the price point down and make you feel like you have a coach.
Yeah, it's trying to like trick you into thinking you have a coach and it's cheaper.
Yeah, but that's not what it is. I mean, those people are very good at their jobs. They're really good at providing motivation. They will get you to train probably harder than you would on your own, and maybe even give you some level of accountability because you're paying for an app or you've paid for a piece of fitness equipment and now you want to engage with it. And that's great. That's wonderful. But, the coaching relationship requires a relationship. And that's just hard to do without human in-person interaction. And by in-person, I don't necessarily mean it has to be face-to-face, although I think that's ideal. But someone you can contact, someone who you can troubleshoot with, someone who can make adjustments for you.
It goes back. It is a relationship.
Yeah.
It has to be a reciprocated relationship.
To be at the highest level, I think, to get the most out of it. And I think, having a coach, if you have fitness goals, if you have any goals, business goals, whatever the case may be, I think having a coach probably shortens the learning curve and accelerates the results. Mm-hmm. And that does come at an expense. I mean, we've had clients who, have spent $15,000 to $70,000 a month on coaching, not physical coaching like we do, but some sort of business coaching or public speaking, or they're getting experts. I mean, they're getting people who've worked with presidents and, these are very high level people. And the men and women who are utilizing that stuff are really just trying to execute at the highest level and see it as an investment in themselves and an investment in their skills and shortening the roadway to success. Mm-hmm. And, those people are not successful by accident, right? They know, they figured out that like surrounding yourself with people who can give you the shortcuts and the most direct path to developing your skills is a very worthwhile investment. So while we are not working at those kind of numbers by any means, I do think investing in a coach, investing in a personal trainer, whatever the case may be, whether you do it with us or you do it somewhere else, tends to just be something where the value is very high and the investment becomes worthwhile.
Where do you think a good place to start for people is? People that maybe they realize like maybe I do need a coach. Maybe that would be the best place to start. Where do they find these people? What do you look for?
I mean, it could be tricky. I would say the first step is really if you see someone else who's gotten the results that you've wanted, speak to them. They are not your coach. Now, that's a huge mistake that people make. People often see like the athletes that they love or that have done what they want to do or have accomplished what they want to do.
So just people that have maybe the effect that they want.
Yeah.
Don't confuse that with them being the coach.
Right. So talk to that person and see who is coaching them.
There we go. Right.
Yeah. So that is like a very kind of direct way of being like, if someone has developed, with athletes, it's kind of an easy example to see. If someone has developed 8 of the top 20 high school quarterbacks in the U.S., well, that's a person who clearly knows how to develop a plan and has built relationships and can probably recruit the kind of talent that could achieve those kind of results. And if they see that kind of potential in you, that is money and time really well spent because they've done it, right? They've laid the groundwork. So, in those instances,
find the person that has the result and find out who coached them.
Yeah, who helped them get that result. And then in a little bit of a trickier way, if you're looking for just general fitness qualities, you want to look better, you want to get stronger or whatever. Even that in your gym, talk to some people, see what it is that they've done, or go around to, if fitness studios are your thing, whether it's like, a group training environment like we have, or like a larger group training environment. If there's really a place or people who've gone to a certain coach or a certain class or a certain studio that are getting the results that you yearn for, then talk to them and see kind of what their path was and who were the coaches that really affected them. And most of those people will, are available to work with you in a more personal way than just maybe the big group thing. And I think that's a good way of doing it as well.
I love it, man. So go get a coach, go find a coach, go find people that have the results that you want, and then find out who taught them and how those people arrived with those results, who led them, who helped them get where they are.
Yeah, and do not fall into the trap of hiring the athlete. I mean, that can work out.
It's like a spot along the line, right? It's you want to follow that path, but don't stop there.
Yeah.
Don't stop with the athlete. Like follow who trained the athlete, who developed that athlete, who helped get them there.
Right. Like Larry Bird was a great athlete. Turns out he was a great coach. Magic Johnson was a great athlete. Turned out he was not a great coach.
Yeah.
The great athlete becoming the great coach is a rare thing. Seek out the great coaches.
That's it, man. All right, I'm Kyle Fields.
I'm Dan Trink.
We are The Fort, and we take this seriously.
And we do what works.